Hello everybody, so today I am back with another video all about my custom built deck. Now this deck is going to be a metal type deck with different Pokemon cards from different sets, so I'm going to go through and just kind of show you what I do and the process that I go through to build this deck. Okay, so usually one of the first things that I do when I'm building a deck is I go through and I look at whatever GXs or EXs I have, or any like full art supporters that I want to use, which I don't use those in decks super often. I usually end up collecting those or selling them because they do sell for a pretty good price. And so they help me kind of get my money back and be able to keep buying Pokemon cards and keep collecting, so I kind of have this cycle going. But anyway, these two are ones that I have pulled from Ultra Prism Elite Trainer boxes. And so this one is not the strongest GX card ever, but it works really well in this deck. As you can see, it's a basic, so there's no evolutions. You can just play the card straight. And come on, focus camera. So this card has an attack where it only costs 1 and you can draw 6 cards, which is very useful to have, or it says draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. So this is pretty useful when you're mid-game, especially when you don't have very many cards in your hand. And then it also has the attack of Shred, which does 80 damage, and it says this attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So no resistance, no weakness, I guess. I don't know. And then the GX attack for 150 does 3 Mettles and 2 colorless energies. It says take another turn after this one, skip the between turns steps. So I mean, that is pretty good if you want to take an extra turn. If you want to completely destroy your opponent's GX or EX that's against you, so that's a pretty decent attack, but it does take a lot of energy, so I'd say it's decent, but it's not the best. This one, on the other hand, is really good, and I wish I had more of these to put in the deck, but they are pretty expensive to buy as singles, so I typically do not buy singles. This is the Dustmane Necrozma GX from Ultra Prism as well, and it has an attack of 60. Now this one can be with colorless energy, which is also like a good trait for it to have. You can do 60 damage. For 4 energies, you can do 220. Whew! Which is crazy, but I mean, you do have to discard 3 energy, but still, like, that can pretty much wipe out any GX, EX, whatever you got. And then you also have the Sun's Eclipse, does 250 damage, and then you can only use this attack if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent. So I mean, that kind of sucks, but it's still a good GX attack. So alright, so now I'm moving on to one of the other singles that I have in my deck. This is the Magirdna from the Ultra Prism set as well, and this one has the ability of come on. Once during your turn, before your attack, you may put a Pokemon tool card attached to one of your Pokemon into your hand. So, I mean, that is pretty useful if you think that somebody's going to try to hammer your Pokemon tools away, which happens. And then the attack is for 60. It takes 1 Mettle and 2 colorless. So it does take a lot of energy, and so that's why I don't particularly like this card, but it does have like a decent hit point and stuff, so I've kept it in there just because it doesn't really need any other evolutions. So alrighty, now we're getting into my evolution chain here. So I have 3 Magnemites and 2 Magnetons. Some of them are reverse hollows, as you can see, which is just kind of fun because it helps brighten up my deck, make it pretty. The Magneton is pretty good. It does 80 damage, but I mean, then you can't use the attack your next turn, so give and take. But the other one also does 20 damage, so I mean, you could still deal out a decent amount with that card as well. These Magnemites do 20 damage for 2 energies, as you can see, and there's 2 different kinds of Magnemites in here, so I'll show you both. The ability on this one is solid unit. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks. Or done to this Pokemon. Okay, so if it's on your bench, like, they can't do damage to it if it's on your bench. But if it is your active Pokemon, they can still damage it. So there you go. Weakness is fire, just like most of the metal cards. Weakness is fire, resistance is to psychic. And then this Magnemite has a little bit different. So this one has the searching magnet. So search your deck for up to 3 energy cards. Very useful. Reveal them and put them into your hand, and then you shuffle your deck. And it also has the tackle of 10. So I do kind of like this one a little bit better than the other Magnemite, but it's what I have in my deck. So, and it's again, all of these cards are cards that I have pulled, so I haven't bought any singles for this deck. Oh yeah, one more thing that I was going to mention is probably the best way to get started with deck building actually is to hop onto the TCG game online and to start practicing building decks with the cards that you have and that you collect. I mean, you can buy the code cards for that game for super cheap, and you can also earn free cards through the coins and stuff. So if you're just getting into deck building, I would definitely recommend to hop on there and get some practice. So this is the next evolution chain that I have with Alolan Diglett and Alolan Dugtrio. The reason why I like this evolution chain is because you actually can attack without needing any energies on these ones. I mean, these ones you pretty much do need an energy just because of the nature of the attack, which I'll show you here. So the Gold Rush is discard any number of metal energy cards from your hand. This attack does 30 damage for each card you discard it this way. So, I mean, I still think that's pretty cool. So I've got 3 Alolan Diglets here and 2 Dugtrios. Alright, so here is one more evolution chain with Bronzong and Bronzer. This one has the attack of 60. If your opponent has any Psychic Pokemon in play, this attack does 60 more damage, which is cool. But just 60 damage itself is also decent, even though it takes 3 energies. So there you have it. Alright, so I also have this little evolution chain here from Celestial Storm with the Whismers and the Lotred. These ones are just kind of in there to give me a few extra Pokemon because there wasn't really any other metal type Pokemon that I wanted to put in there. Here are a couple more just singles that I have in here. Come on, focus camera. So I've got the Oranguru from Ultra Prism, which can do up to 60 damage, and then I also have this Latias Prism Star, which is from Celestial Storm, and this one does attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to each of your benched Pokemon. That is super useful. That ability is very useful, and so even though the attack isn't very great, the ability is really good, which is just as good in helping you win. And here we go, just a couple more singles that I have. A Kelkin, Kelsey, Kelicton, I don't know, and a couple Lickitunks. Alright, so now I'm just going to show you guys some of the trainers that I have. So I've got a couple of skateboards, I've got a Licker and a Licker Whistle, 2 switches, there's another skateboard and a hiker, Super Scoop Up and a Sightseer, which you guys can pause the videos if you actually want to read what's on these cards, but the video is getting kind of long, so. And I've got 2 of these metal frying pans. Those ones are really nice. I like those because they do 30 less damage, so. And then I've got another switch and a mount coordinate, which is a really good stadium. And then last but not least, of course, you need some energies. So there you have it, and you're done. That is my custom built deck. Ta-da! Bye guys!